Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a super fun one, but it may not be that long, but that is okay. Today's video is going to be me going over pretty much everything that was added in update 11.5. So I personally do genuinely like 11.5. So 11.5, it's not a crazy update, I'll be honest with you. Not a lot of stuff was added. It was a lot more of a fixing update, a smaller update, and a brief kind of meta change style of an update, along with adding a bunch of new vanity things. So before I go into detailed stuff, I'm going to go over the quick stuff. First, max health stats has been increased to 17,500 points. So for all of you who were max stats before was 15,000, so this is not too much of an increase. That is a pretty easy amount to get to. If you do nest for about 2 hours, you should very likely get to that number. Honestly, I am not too worried about getting to that number myself. So another thing that was added that was like very briefly announced and then pretty much just added into the game is the golden weapons. I do not have one myself yet, but I plan on working towards 2 I'm trying to get right now. But basically the way you get a golden weapon is you do 1,000 runs of a certain dungeon. So 1,000 runs of hardcore nest or any dungeon like that, and you get a golden version of the main drop as a vanity. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong here. I am very certain that these are vanity only weapons and they do not have actual statistics on them. But if they do have the stats on them, I apologize. I personally have yet to actually see someone get this weapon in game, although I'm sure plenty have been discovered. I am very certain they do not have stats. Please someone comment down below if they have stats or not on the golden weapons. So, besides the golden weapons, there was also another 3 vanities added to the game. These were 3 weapons that were added to the weapon item shop, like the pay-to-win currency, like the green tokens in that shop area. What these are 3 new items: a mouse, the giant rainbow popsicle, and the kitty paws. I'm not going to be getting any of these myself unless he releases any codes, and I was looking at the giant rainbow popsicle as being a fun one. But yeah, these are essentially pay to win for cosmetics. Are they good? No, they're not good stat-wise at all. But hey, they're a little bit more on the fun, dumb, crazy side for your vanity. And if that's the kind of thing you want for your vanity, then I recommend maybe you go after these. So the main thing about this update was the lunar and hurricane runes being changed. So first I'm going to go over the hurricane rune. So the hurricane rune was indeed changed, but it does not seem to be nearly as good as the lunar rune. Essentially now, hurricane also boosts acceleration dash. Its cooldown goes down to only 5 seconds when using hurricane rune, and its range is increased. The problem is Acceleration's dash's DPS by default is extremely weak, and the Hurricane Rune is not increasing it. So in reality, it pretty much is boosting Acceleration dash, but Acceleration's dash is still pretty useless. From my experimenting with the 2 new runes, Lunar is by far so much better than Hurricane, and Lunar is actually probably one of the best, if not the best rune in the entire game. Hurricane is not really that good, but I will admit it looks amazingly flashy. They also updated the actual physical appearance of the actual rune that's floating and has a lot more particle effects going on with it, and I think that looks a lot better. But overall, Hurricane Rune is kind of useless in this update, and overall is not really that good, to be honest with you. So next is Lunar. What happened to Lunar? Well, Lunar basically took crack. Lunar is now one of the absolute best runes in the entire game. Moon Slice cooldown went down to 6 seconds. Cyclone's cooldowns increased to 7 seconds, and Cyclone's throws cutters forward if standing still, and Cyclone throws cutters in each dimension if moving. So you may be wondering, what do you mean Cyclone? So now if you use Cyclone while in Lunar, well, as in while using the Lunar rune, you will throw out Moon Slices. This ability does absolutely dummy massive DPS, and it only has a 7-second cooldown. Lunar is absolutely one of the absolute best runes in the game now. I pretty much use it when farming Hideout, Tartarus, Nest. Literally everything I'm doing damage in, I am using Lunar Rune. I'm in absolute love with it. It is so broken, and I highly recommend, if you do not currently have a Lunar Rune, get your hands on a Lunar Rune, because currently it seems like it is quite game-breaking. So some other small changes to runes. Sword Splitter's cooldown is now reduced down to 7 seconds. Ground Break cooldown increases to 20 seconds in the Shatter, and Ground Break's damage is increased heavily by it, and there is some visual changes to the rest of the runes I may not go over. So yeah, I haven't tested it yet personally, but from what I know, Shatter is now the ultimate weapon in Hardcore Frost Dragon. So a couple of my friends were telling me that they were using Shatter instead of the Blade Rune, and they were getting anywhere from 50-second runs to 110-second runs, and I have some screenshots to prove it. So later this week, I do plan to go in and do another Hardcore Frost Dragon video, and maybe talk about how Update 11 has changed the raid and makes it easier with the new rune changes. Let me know down below if that would be something of interest. Okay, so there is a couple of fixes. One fix that I'm pretty sure this is how it works is, you know how in Vampire King before, when you killed him, the Shadow Face could completely screw you over and it could activate after his death? Vampire King should no longer be able to do that, meaning you can now fully speedrun the dungeon without being afraid of getting Shadow ability trapped. I remember losing so many runs all because of this dumb Shadow ability. So yeah, what is update 11.5? Well, of 11.5, it's pretty much just a crap ton of small hot fixes. I'm not going to really go into those because those aren't very interesting. Couple new vanities. So golden weapons is a pretty big part of it. I might make a whole video on that once I start getting them, but I will plan on grinding for them soon because I also got to get my health points up, so I might as well grind some dungeons while I'm also getting those points up. So 11.5, definitely do like it. And the very last thing I want to talk about is my personal favorite thing of this update, but that's just because I'm a YouTuber. That is cinematic mode. So cinematic mode was finally added. Basically, you say cinematic, slash cinematic in the text chat, and essentially it activates cinematic mode for you. Cinematic mode is basically what I've been wanting for so long. It removes your entirety of your HUD. I played a couple runs. You'll see in the background of me with me using cinematic mode. You can't really see your health, but it definitely improves the frame rate of your game. At least it did for me, and it also makes it just look very aesthetic. Plus, I can use this to make a lot of new, very fun style thumbnails if I decide to. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching this pretty short overview video on 11.5. Comment down below any questions you may have, and hopefully you guys found this video to be helpful and useful. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. Hopefully you check out the rest of my videos sometime later this week. Bye!